What up, G Life? It's your boy MC Shadow back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. You know, all that good stuff. It's free. It don't cost anything. You'll help my channel get into the algorithm. I'd highly appreciate it. You know, if you guys go ahead and do that. As a matter of fact, we ain't gonna start until you guys go ahead and do it, bro. You guys did it yet? Don't forget to check out my second channel, Man of Society, M.O.D, where we talk about stuff outside of the streets. And don't forget to check out the playlist where are my videos in their own folders. Now, what I wanted to get into was something that I've been asked for the past few days, right? I was getting asked, what are my opinions on the whole, milk and haters world. You know, what Milk came out and said about, staying out of, black, politics and stuff like that, right? And then as I was also asked about, bozo, taking shots at the North and, a haters world not messing with the North and yada, 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 that they hate on the North and, so and so, right? So my opinions on these matters. Normally, I don't like to touch on these subjects, but, since a few of my, day one subscribers, were the ones asking for this. So, I feel it's only right, you know what I mean? They rock with my channel since the beginning. So, you know what I mean? Now, we'll start off with the Milk and Haters World one first, right? So Milk came out and said, that, why are we speaking on black politics when, when when they speak about Mexicans, homies be tripping. So, why do they do it and yada, 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 right? They were talking about I think he's a rapper who went to a hood day and he got regulated or, DP or whatever. Well, I don't know. You know what I mean? That's none of my business. Overall, in general, when it comes to topics like that, see, when it comes to other ethnicities, right, like their gangs, I wouldn't speak on their what they have going on. You know what I mean? How they do their thing or what they're doing, in their organization. That's just something that I personally wouldn't talk about. I get it that we report on stuff, right? Like journalists, that the topics that people want to hear, right? And all very true. Um, Me personally, I separate, what's reporting on something and then what's diving into, no man's land. You know what I mean? Being from the streets, you already know that, diving into how a neighborhood is doing stuff or a site is doing things or anything that has to do with their gang, and their business. I personally wouldn't touch on, on the simple fact that, you already know how that goes. You know what I mean? Those are sensitive, topics, and it's a slippery slope that you just don't want to be on, right? So it's just like it's better just to avoid it in general, right? Um, like, if a black rapper or actor or anything like that, is from a gang, right? And then, it makes headlines, because of him and something with his neighborhood. I just wouldn't touch on it because, it could get rocky, right? Same way, I think that no one should speak on, business and politics in general, from either side, from nobody, from any side, Asian, white, or whatever, because it does get treacherous. You know what I mean? I also was seeing that a few channels have put out, that Milk shouldn't even be talking because he's white, so he can't even speak on that. See, it's different though. Milk, I get it. He's Caucasian or whatever, but he doesn't matter. He's from the actual gang. He's from a black gang. You know what I mean? So I mean, he has every right to speak on it. I mean, he's part of their shit. People could look at him as a Caucasian or whatever. Doesn't matter, bro. As soon as he became a part of the neighborhood, he is now infused in their politics and their mix, bro. So he has every right to speak on it, bro. I get it. People, hey, he's from a black neighborhood, my boy. You know what I mean? So he could touch on those topics. If a Mexican is from a Crip neighborhood, he could touch on those subjects. If a white is from a Crip neighborhood or a blood neighborhood or whatever, he could touch on those subjects. Because he's a part of their organizations, bro. Doesn't matter the skin color, bro. He's a part of, their get down. Just like a black Sureño could speak about our politics, a white Sureño or an Asian, whatever, because they do. Because when they're right there in the hood meetings or behind the walls or whatever, that they're in the mix. Um, doesn't matter their skin color, bro. I mean, if people already know what's up, then they should already know what's up. That shouldn't even have to be explained. Um, so Milk does get to talk about it, while homies we just don't get to, because we're not a part of that. Like we could report it if a rapper has a beef with another rapper, or if he gets into some shit. When people say that you're not allowed to speak about black people or brown people, that shit's ridiculous. People are allowed to speak on whatever they choose to speak on, as long as it doesn't involve organizations, because then they will take it upon themselves to push the issue. You know what I mean? You may not like that, but that's just the way it is. That's why it's better just to avoid those things, and that's why they tell people to avoid those things. If it ain't your business, mind your own, because then it will become an issue, and then you know people will get involved and shit, and then they're gonna look to see what was the cause of it, and whoopty 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 why. Um, that's why people say to avoid those topics in general, right? So when it comes to like gang stuff, yeah, that I have no say so in how any of these neighborhoods do what they do or whatever. Um, so I could understand why he says that homies shouldn't speak about their politics, and he's right. And just like they shouldn't speak about ours, facts. Um, Now I'm not saying that haters world was speaking on their politics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying and overall what he's saying in his message, milk. You know what I mean? Um, because that I know of, I don't know if hater world did any of that. I doubt it. Hater world, he's a pretty solid dude who knows how to carry himself. You know what I mean? Um, so you know what I mean. But I could understand from his point of view. But when it's saying like don't speak about blacks in general, then nah, homies are gonna speak on whatever they choose to speak on. You know what I mean? Gang stuff, okay, I understand. But overall, in general, ethnicities and nah, people can talk on whoever they want. People lost their minds. Now, the other thing I was asked was if I seen that bozo and haters world, that they don't mess with northern channels, and they, what they would. This I'm gonna say, homies could mess with whoever they choose to mess with, bro. Nobody could tell them or be mad at them for having their points of view, bro. If that's how the homies feel, that's how the homies feel. You know what I mean? I can't be mad at that or whatever. I see it differently. You know what I mean? Just like any other homie sees it differently. Some homies care, some homies don't care. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Not all the homies have the same mentality, right? Or have the same. Um, Now people could say, oh, well, they never even bumped into Northerners. So why they even look, bro? If that's how homie feels, that's how he feels. Ain't nobody can be mad at that, bro. That's how you feel. Cause look, it works both ways. It's only because norteños don't have YouTube channels, right? Because from what I heard, they're not allowed to or whatever. You know what I mean? Right? But I guarantee you, if they were able to have YouTube channels and were able to speak, bro, you would have some norteños who wouldn't mess with no homeboys either, bro. Let's not act like that wouldn't happen, bro. You would have. It doesn't matter, even if they're from down south. You would have some northerners who wouldn't even mess with the homies down south. They just wouldn't, mess with them in general. That would happen, bro, if they were allowed to have channels, bro. And I know this because there's some people, some norteños that comment on some of my videos, whatever, and talk you smack, bro. And it doesn't matter that I'm from down here. You know what I mean? They just don't mess with homies in general. So it works both ways. You have norteños who don't like homeboys. You have homeboys who don't like norteños. You know what I mean? Even though there's a end of hostilities and all that, you know what I mean? You're just gonna have homies that are gonna feel the way that they feel, and that's just what it is. It's just just a few homies see it that way, and it is what it is, bro. Um, it's nothing new for homies to not like each other. Um, Now that's not to say that there'll never be peace or there'll never whatever just because you have a few individuals things like that. Because I get if these individuals were to be behind the walls, I mean they could feel however they want. At the end of the day, they're gonna have to program, so it doesn't even matter. How they see it. No one's better. No one's bigger than the program. But can nobody be mad at these individuals? Hey, that's their channels and that's their opinions and that's what they feel and how they see it and that's how they feel and how they see it. Um, Not to say that all homies see it that way, but if that's how homies feel, then that's how they feel, dog. You know, um, can nobody know why they feel the way or why they see it the way but them? You know, um, and like I said, because you have some Northerners that feel the same way too. You know, um, so it's not like, oh, it's just the homies that are like that. You know, it works both ways. Um, you know, but that's what it is. You know, overall, in my personal opinion, um, I mean, however people want to conduct themselves and on their channels, that's just the way it is, bro. But that's my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave yours in the comment and share it. We out.